Welcome to CIR-PCA, Central Indiana Region. Little radio traffic to talk around there. Welcome to Central Indiana Region PCA at Silverstone, England. So, as we line up with Steve Pruden on pole, Lanre Sarumi on second, Owen Pruden and Sean Marks on the second row. Myself, Keith Morgan, and James Legault round out the field. So let's watch from James' position. And the field rolls off behind the safety car. You can see that Lanre is a little out of position coming there. This is a very short safety car run, and then we are on to racing. Steve Pruden controls the pace at this point. You can see he's running it pretty warm. He pretty much consider the race started already. I think that's Rusty Pruden kind of cut across his bow, and I think the green flag order was just given, and the field is kind of a mess. We'll see how we get into turn one here. Except for me, it looked pretty clean. And I overdrove that corner, and I am off. And we have a look at Steve Pruden out front. Lanre Sarumi and Sean Marks close behind. On board with Sean Marks. And did not want to try it this turn. A lot of understeer on these cold tires. Looked like Lanre went a little wide. Steven opened up a little bit of a gap up there. Missed the apex pretty bad there in one. Good racing back here in the back. Got Rusty Pruden and James Legault, with me picking up last place there. Oh, and it looks like Sean might have got around Lanre. Let's see if we can get a replay of that. There we go, coming into the big brake zone. Sean takes the inside line. Lanre gives him good space. Pretty clean pass. Lanre trying the over-under. Can't get it back. Sean makes it stick. Now we're to the race leader, Steve Pruden. Well out in front of the battle behind him. We've got Rusty Pruden coming into the picture there. Looks like Lanre is still having a go at Sean. Through the very tight chicane there. Looks like there might be a little more action in the back. Looks like the tightest racing is for these last three positions here. That's Rusty Pruden. I think feeling some pressure from James Legault. Oh, looks like I just made the pass. Let's see if we can get a replay on that one. Well, oh, very tight. Maybe I hadn't made the pass. Either way, let's back that up. And we are in replay here. It's like James is working real hard on Rusty. I think that's what allowed me to reel them in. Very clean racing. Lots of generous room being given there. And it looks like I made the pass on James. Now working on Rusty. Very deep on the brakes. Rusty gave me a lot of room there. Very polite racing. And I still have not made it, get it done. Good side by side. Looked like James was wanting to take advantage of that pass too. This is the closest race he's going to track right now, as far as I know. Very tight here. Rusty pulled out at least a car length on that last corner. Looked like he had a lot better exit. Gap getting a little better out through one. This chicane right here is not very forgiving.
Everybody's pretty quiet back there.
That little radio chatter.
Some close racing back here.
Yeah, even the drivers are commenting on how tight things are in these positions, 4th through 6th. Ooh, and James going around the outside. Very clean. Side by side. Looked like he had to give it up under braking. Let's go on board. I've managed to pull a gap out on these two. Looking for the inside. It's not there, not this lap. For anybody used to racing the full course, this corner right here is very weird. More side-by-side racing as James tries to get by Rusty. Still been very clean so far. Looks like he has a great exit out of this corner. Will he go for it into the hard left-hander? Too far back. Steered it out wide to avoid contact. That was good. Now Rusty tends to get a great exit here. Plus turn one's a really bad turn to try a pass in. Can get it done under braking here. Looks like he's going to try. Yeah, does he keep it? Very clean. Oh, too much curb. Did Rusty capitalize? Does not look like it. Looks like he keeps the pass. Very wide entrance. Rusty tries to capitalize. And it's not there. Looks like James has got the pass made. And back up front with your leader, Steve Pruden, who does have Sean Marks. Looks like he might be reeling him in a little bit. And Landry Sarumi is holding on to third. drivers are pretty spaced out up front. It's notable that in qualifying, there was only a second covering the entirety of the field. So whatever gaps you see are surely happening barely a tenth at a time. Positions 1 through 4 are really stretched out. When I watch these replays and I watch Steve, he's very precise about his apexes and track out, corner exit. Rarely sets a wheel wrong. Of course, as I say that, he goes about 2 feet wide and a couple of apexes, but if you generally watch him, he's just right there against the curbing, just like that. He tracks right out into the outside curbing. See, now he's making me know what I'm talking about. Make it look like it anyway. There is rumor that some of the upcoming CIR-PCA races will be on bigger tracks and in faster cars. So stay tuned. You might get to see some... maybe I've been hearing some rumors about the 911 RSR coming out. And we're back with James Legault and Rusty Pruden hanging on reasonably well there. As for my race at this point, I'm kind of out there all by myself in no man's land. It's kind of nice to have clean air and just lap the car sometimes. And it looks like James is maybe pulling out a couple of tenths a lap on Rusty. And we're with Landry Sarumi, currently circulating in third. Looking up ahead, it looks like Sean is kind of staying in touch. Ooh, wow, great save there. Boy, that back end really came around on him. But as I was saying, it looks like Sean is at least staying in touch with Steve. Steve Pruden often puts on clinics in CIR-PCA racing. Today doesn't seem to be an exception. Notably missing from the grid is Mark Westlake, who oftentimes assists with those clinics. When they're both racing, the best the rest of us hope for is for them to get involved in a collision and put themselves at the back of the pack. As we watch Sean Marks, and yeah, he's at least keeping Steve Pruden in sight, but the gaps between first, second, and third continue to grow. With Steve now 2 turns ahead of Sean, and Sean 2 turns ahead of Landry, and I don't know where I am back there. It's a long ways. And we're back with your leader. Let's go on board and watch some smooth driving. I had a lot of trouble figuring out the line through that set of turns. I've got a lot of virtual experience on this track, and I'm very used to that turn going the other way there. And I found it really hard to figure that turn out, and it's got a massive bump in the middle of it, right where you want to brake. And we'll stay on board for at least a lap with Steve, and I'll show you exactly where that bump is, and you can watch the nose of his car bounce around. So this is what I'm talking about. Good control to the apex, good power all the way out to the exit, back in for the apex, all the way out to the curbing on exit. Steve tends to drive very precise. Alright, so coming around, going to have this hard right-hander down here at the end of 2. Now normally after this turn you go back to the hard left, but in the short configuration, come this way and bam, there's the bump. And you need to brake. I always wanted to brake right at the bump, but I learned that produced some really unexpected results, like the wheels changing ends and going down the racetrack backwards, which is not optimal. Let's roll through the field and have a look. So there's Sean Marks, currently circulating in 2nd place. Pretty good gap out to 1st. There's Lanri Sarumi, running in 3rd place. Good gap to 2nd place ahead of him, and back to 4th with me back there. We'll skip me because you can already see how I'm just kind of running around in open air there. And here's Rusty Pruden still in 5th place with James Legant still hounding him. Let's go on board with James and watch this chase for a minute. This has been a very clean race so far. I don't, if there's been any contact, I have not seen it. I know because it was my experience that I caught a penalty at one point in this race. I think everybody else has been super clean. Boy, James got a really good exit from that turn. And he has cleaned up his entry into that corner. He's got a much better drive than previous laps that we've seen. He's keeping the fight alive with Rusty, but see, he's made a pass here before, I think. Nope, doesn't have it. And Rusty goes wide. Just not enough room to set up the pass. Again, that's a very difficult turn to learn, especially if you're used to running the full course, and because that's a hard left right back there. You're definitely not used to getting on the throttle. I had to fight my instincts on every lap. James got a great run. Again, turn 1's a very sketchy place to pass on this track. Much better down here into 3. See if he can do it. Too far back. Oh, and Rusty goes wide. I think James actually came out of it thinking that Rusty was going to slide back across the track and hit him. That's what it looked like to me. I don't know, maybe James will drop in the comments and let us know if that really was the case or not. Watching in third place, you can see the gap to third for me has come down a good bit. This is now, aside from Rusty and James, this is probably the closest racing on track. Now in the cockpit, the 718 GT4 Clubsport shows you your lap times, and I could tell if I blew a turn by a tenth or two, Linery would pull away from me, and if I just railed a lap, I'd reel him in a little. But from my perspective, it all felt like if I made any mistake at all, Linery pulled away, and if I drove as close as possible to a perfect lap, I'd reel him in a little bit. I don't know what kind of moment I had there, but it wasn't pretty. There you see that bump I complained about. And Linery goes a little wide. This may give me a better drive down the hangar straight. You see I took a little more racetrack on exit there. Let me get a little better drive down that chute into this chicane. Ooh. And looked like Linery pretty much just let me by there. Sure gave me a lot of room. Looks like he's attacking though. Yeah. I do not seem to be running away. Oh, and the penalty. So I received a 1 second penalty, which turned into about 5 on track. I didn't see it. I don't know if you saw it on screen at any point, but the wonderful iRacing auto stewards detected that I cut the race course somewhere. So now Linery has the option to kind of capitalize on that and maintain his step on the podium. And speaking of podiums, right now the top step will be occupied by this man. You can see Sean in the background, and you know that gap, if it's growing, does not seem to be growing by much. I mean, we really have to be thinking that's got to be, what, a tenth of a second a lap or so? But Steve continues to run what looks like a very clean race with very few mistakes. And just staying, 2 turns out in front of Sean. It looks like he's been 2 turns out in front of Sean for the duration of this race. I don't know if he's intentionally managing pace to save tires or what's going on. And yes, tire deg is definitely a thing in these 718s. I didn't feel it as bad at Silverstone as I have some other courses, but it manifested in my car and my setup as the back end starting to get real squirrely. Looking at that shot, it looked like Sean may have reeled Steve in by a tenth or two on that last lap. And now we're on board with me as I try to reel Landry in again. You see massive understeer. At this point of the race, the tires are starting to go. I think Laundry may have let me go again, but I don't know if he intentionally went very wide in that turn or if that was a mistake. But I did get the position, and looks like I'll hold it. Let's watch from Landry's point of view here. It was interesting listening to Landry's throttle through that corner. His driving style through that corner is absolutely identical to mine. And I go wide, giving Landry an opportunity. I stayed to the inside, clearly defending. Again, everybody's so close as far as lap times. And I went to the inside to defend again, but it wasn't really necessary. Laundry wasn't close enough. The replay doesn't show the... Ooh. I think Laundry went wide there to avoid hitting me. The replay doesn't show it, but the mirrors on these cars are actually really, really bad. You really can only see out of the left side mirror. Your netting's in the way to the right side mirror, and the central rear view mirror, as Landry kind of cooks that turn, is blocked by all of the wing apparatus. So you really, it's very hard to tell where someone is, and your spotters are not always super reliable. So I am definitely not pulling away from Landry here, not with any authority anyway. Go to an interesting view here. Don't get this view on TV. Would be an interesting take, though, to sink a drone to fly in front of a car like that. And back up front with your leader, Steve Pruden, who still has Sean Marks. Let's see. Kind of find a good reference here and see if I can.
Thanks, Jim.
Looks like he's about. Sean looks like he's about 2.5 to 3 seconds behind. But I don't have access to that kind of timing. The drivers do, but I don't.
As usual, I will finish on fumes.
Looks like we're coming up to last race, or last lap, so I'll have to watch for the checker.
I don't play that game. I've run out of gas from the lead in a real race.
I do not know if this is the last lap or not. Somebody just claimed that they're out of gas.
I've almost done that in a real race for sure.
I think that may have been the checker. Yes.
Oh, you're kidding, Sean.
Let's go back and see what that was all about. So we're on board with me. That's Sean Marks up front in second place. Apparently he is the one who ran out of gas and 200 yards from the finish line.
Sean.
He is slow rolling. Hopefully he's got enough to cross the line. So I hear another car coming. Is he going to maintain third? And he does. He maintains third place. We have James Legant, who is...
Jim, if we had a steward, I would protest you bumping me off there.
Well, apparently there was some
But it's all
contact.
good fun.
Let's see if we can find it. Okay, here we are with James. I think this is maybe the white flag lap. He's got the line. Oh yeah. Oh, let's watch that again. On board with James. Coming in, he's got a good run. He's got the line. Oh, I don't think he left room there. Let's have another look from a chase cam. Okay, here comes James. Into the braking zone, looks clean. It's hard to. I don't think he had the line. When I look at that from the rear chase, I'm not sure that Rusty didn't turn in. Let's see if we can have a look at it from the regular chase from. Let's see. Let's watch that from James' position. All right, here we go. Okay, so far everything looks good. Steve, he's leaving him a car length. And there's the contact. Yeah, there's a car length and a half right here. So that would definitely be on James for failure to get into the apex. I know he was sliding out. You can see this. That's probably his, that skid mark right there. So anyway, let's go back to the end of the race. We'll jump back forward in time to the end of the race. So that was James. Landry was out for some reason.
Keith, I've almost done that in a real race for sure.
So back to our finish. There's Steve. Sean Marks finished second. Well, Sean Marks finished third because he ran out of gas, giving me third. I'm sorry, giving me second. James Legault, who should probably take a penalty for that one, will come around for fourth place.
Hey, Jim, if we had a steward, I would protest you bumping me off there. But it's all in good fun.
And Sean's out of gas car. And Rusty coming around for
Yeah, you were so slow coming off that
fifth place.
corner that then I'll have to look at the replay. I apologize. Hey, no worries, man. We were having fun out there. We had a good run.
And then Landry Sarumi finished in the pits. So if we look at our results, Stephen Pruden first, me second because Sean ran out of gas. Sean Marks, who crept across the finish line at a whopping 3.5 miles per hour, still gets to stand on the podium. I kind of wonder if iRacing is going to give us a jump out and push the car option because Sean clearly needs it. James Legault in fourth, and maybe the stewards demote him to fifth. I don't know. We'd have to find some stewards somewhere. And then Rusty Pruden in fifth, and Landry Sarumi, who I do not know what happened to him on the, looked like it had to be on the last or second to last lap, but he was effectively a DNF in the pit lane on the last lap. So thanks for tuning in to CIR-PCA iRacing. Look for exciting stuff coming soon. Faster cars, bigger tracks, a lot more setup for the drivers to work on, which, you never know how that'll shake out. And last but not least, go get iRacing, get yourself a setup, come join us. Thanks.